Are you afraid of the dark? I hope not, because tonight we are checking out Eric Chahi's Heart of Darkness, released in 1998 for PC and PlayStation. Let us begin.
We can't talk about this game without talking about the mastermind behind it. This is Eric Chahi. He is a French video game designer known for his incredible work on the game he solely developed before Heart of Darkness. This Amiga/Atari ST game, released in 1991, was known as Another World. We call it Out of This World. With the exception of the game's music, Chahi made it all on his own, which was super impressive back then and still is today. Fans praised it for its atmospheric, minimalistic, storytelling gameplay, which was uncommon back in '91. Chahi would then found Amazing Studio, and after 6 long years, development for Heart of Darkness was complete. Infogrames published it in PAL territories, while Interplay handled NTSC publishing.
Now, the PC version wasn't much of a hit due to the graphics and length. However, the PS1 version, which is what I'm playing, received critical acclaim shortly after its release in 1998. This game actually needed to be split into 2 discs, so let's pop in disc 1 and check this game out.
The story begins with our protagonist Andy being woken up by his abusive teacher, who then tries to stuff him in a dark cabinet in the back of the classroom. Yeah, that'll teach you not to watch Skibbity Toilet and say what the Sigma, you spoiled little shit.
Oh wow, afraid of the dark?
Luckily, Andy is saved by the bell, and he is able to leave the school and watch the solar eclipse with his dog Whiskey. While being awed and blinded by it, dark creatures emerge to kidnap Whiskey.
Lucky bastard. Not for his dog being abducted, for actually seeing the eclipse. I didn't get that privilege. 99% of Buffalo was covered with clouds. Apart from the 3-minute darkness during the afternoon, we couldn't see shit.
Yes, I'm salty about that. Anyway, Andy rushes home to his treehouse and readies his ship to travel to the world where Whiskey was taken. When he gets there, he runs into a dark creature and loses control of his ship, causing it to bump into every cliffside, until it gets stuck. So Andy needs to jump out and continue his journey on foot. One leap out of the exploding ship and the game is underway. One thing very interesting about this game is that absolutely no music plays during gameplay, only during the cinematics. The music was composed and conducted by Bruce Broughton, and performed by the London Symphony Orchestra. Now, the first thing you'll note is that Heart of Darkness has sprite animations set in front of the cinematic backgrounds. Oddworld fans will be right at home here. The second thing is that
this game is diffy.
yeah, this game is a huge pain in the ass. You can change the difficulty, but even on easy, it's a bitch to get through.
I know what I'm about to say has kind of become a meaningless comparison, but if I'm being frank, this game literally was Dark Souls before Dark Souls.
I'm kinda joking, but not really. From the very beginning, the game will not pull any punches. You can run by holding square, and you also have a lightning gun you can use by pressing and holding circle. But 5 or so minutes in, you lose it when a giant monster comes in to eat it. So now you have to run away and climb up cliff sides in order to reach the top, and get a view of the castle where Whiskey is being held captive. Your end goal is to get there, rescue Whiskey, and defeat the Master of Darkness to return home. When you pause the game, you don't really have any options here. You can save, quit, or continue your adventure. Along the way, you'll encounter a new ally named Amigo. So after being stunned by a fireball, Amigo drops Andy into the water. Here you can't resurface, otherwise... So you have to swim deep to find a green rock. Upon touching it, Andy is given magical powers. But first, we need to find a way out before he runs out of breath. The checkpoints are very spread out in this game. In fact, it was because of this that actually made me want to rage quit during this sequence.
I was getting so frustrated by this point with all the other bullshit that I had to deal with. However, I decided that it wouldn't be fair to stop here and be like, this game is hard, 2 out of 10. I've done that in the past, and I'm not proud of those moments. So, let's take a deep breath and keep going. I will see this through to the end.
I want to talk about the visuals here. This is where the game really shines, in my opinion. The environment around you is so dark and foreboding. It sets the tone right away that you aren't in Kansas anymore. And the sprite/CG combo is not a clash. It all blends really well. There needs to be a balance here, and Chahi nailed it. This is one of the best looking games on the PlayStation. Some of these levels have really interesting puzzles to solve while you're fending off all of the monsters on the screen. Using his new powers, Andy can fire green magic beams with circle, and charge a more powerful beam with triangle. Aiming can be done with the D-pad, but it's a bit finicky. It's worth noting that you can't use the analog sticks. This is a bit weird for a 1998 PS1 game, but then again, this game did take 6 years to develop. In some areas, there are eggs that turn into climbable vines when you shoot them. These are necessary to progress the game.
There, all caught up.
He'll take you to a village filled with amigos, where gravity is flipped and the head honcho informs Andy on what he has to do to save Whiskey, while proudly exclaiming that the dark creatures would never find the village. Then the dark creatures find the village. What irony. They attack the amigos as they run in refuge. This is when the game informs us to insert disc 2.
Do you know what that means? Yes, this video is a 2-parter. I'll see you in the next part. Nah, I'm kidding. On to disc 2.
I have to admit, this is really cool. I didn't grow up with any multi-disc games, so it's so fascinating to me how they work. We actually only need disc 2 to load the correct FMVs. Now, let me tell you, I know I said this game is hard, but I'm serious. It takes me multiple attempts on every scene in every level. I mean, Jesus, this might be the hardest game I've played on the channel thus far. Andy eventually gets kidnapped by monsters and thrown into the same cell Whiskey is in. He escapes by climbing above and pushes a boulder down, making the pink servant jump into the cell. Whiskey is able to escape, and now Andy needs to find a way out. So we keep trekking through and the master destroys the magic rock. This means that Andy can no longer use his magic. Running for his life, Andy falls down a hole and gets eaten by a giant monster. That's the game.
Wait, he isn't dead!
Yeah, the monster that ate Andy ended up being the same one that ate his lightning gun from the beginning. Using it, Andy escapes and makes a deal with the servant to bring all the pieces of the magic rock back to him. This doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, though. There's one last piece to retrieve. While we're searching for it, Whiskey gets kicked into the void. Selfish bastard. Now Andy must survive a gauntlet of dark creatures in order to retrieve the final piece of the rock. I fucking hate this part. Trying to kill every single one of these motherfuckers that can jump over my lightning while killing these guys that drop their brain egg things that grow into more creatures if you don't destroy them while evading the master's attacks is one of the hardest things I've ever done in a game. This bullshit took me multiple attempts. I was getting so pissed. Fail after fail after fail after fucking fail.
I'm not sure if the camera will pick this up, but there is a slight dent in my painting of Spawns. Heart of Darkness did this.
But I kept going, and after roughly 30 minutes and turning into Aaron, I suck at Sonic games, so therefore they suck, Hansen for a little while.
You saw me shoot the lightning at the guy. You saw it.
I finally made it through. However, we're still not done. Restoring the rock causes the fortress to collapse, and the master pulls Andy under with him. We now have to survive the Heart of Darkness. Hey, the thing, he said the thing! We do this by swatting away the demons. After a few attempts, the game finally ends. A beam of light shines from the darkness, and it's revealed that Andy ended up back in his treehouse along with Whiskey. So, did all of this even happen? Or was this all just Andy's imagination? Well, after Andy goes to sleep, we do see the Amigo village going through his backpack, so I'll let you guys decide whether or not it was made up. We then get to view the credits, and the game informs us to put on 3D glasses. This is our reward for beating the game.
See, the game originally came with a pair of 3D glasses, but the copy that I bought on eBay didn't have it. So I needed to buy a pair. And yes, we're talking old red and blue 3D, not stereoscopic, so you don't need to buy a new TV.
Once you put your glasses on, you can press X to watch one of the cutscenes in 3D. And yeah, it's actual 3D. While it is pretty cool, it's also an eyesore, whether you're wearing the glasses or not.
Well, that was interesting. I don't know why they made that the reward for beating the game. Maybe allow me to watch the cutscenes or listen to the music or something else that feels more rewarding. I feel cheated.
Look, I know I've been hard on this game, but I did enjoy my time with it. This is a great game to get your challenging platformer fixation filled. Do be advised, this game is difficult, but that's by design. You could also say that it's a little bit of a skill issue on my end, and that is totally fair. I do suck at a lot of games. However, I'm not blaming the game for my lack of ability. At the same time, Heart of Darkness is meant to be atrociously hard, even on the easiest difficulty. This is a game you would make your enemies play and watch as they turn to you and say, "Damn, not even I would make you do this. You are evil." With all of this said, Heart of Darkness gets 6 out of 10. Please do not play this game if you're having a shitty day. Play it when you're craving a challenge. The scarcity of checkpoints might drive some people away, but if you ask me, it's a little extra motivation to get to the end of the level and reach that next checkpoint.
The whole 3D thing was pointless, but other than that, this was an amazing experience, difficulty aside. I would honestly like to see a modern take on this game sometime in the future. And with that, I've got some souls to reap. Happy Halloween.